DOJ late night filer. Okay, this is the great divider. Tell us, bring us all together.
He was supposed to unite the country, but lately all it seems Biden wants to do is cause division.
That's all he wants to do is cause division. That's what he wants to do. That's all he wants to do. He was supposed to be a uniter. That's why I didn't vote for him. And now he's the great divider, which is what I voted for Trump to be, but somehow he didn't do enough of it.
It's been a full week of Biden's relentless attacks on those semi-fascist MAGA Republicans.
Okay, so a small subsect of Republicans. So he's refusing to unify our democracy as an umbrella and scoop in people who don't want the umbrella to exist. I got you. Okay, cool.
And it doesn't look like he's going to tone it down anytime soon.
No, he's not.
I don't respect these MAGA Republicans. The MAGA Republicans are destroying America. They don't believe in democracy. The MAGA Republicans in Congress, my MAGA Republican friends. And for those brave...
Oh, my God, that was the worst. He called them friends.
Brave right-wing Americans who say it's all about keeping America's independent and safe. If you want to fight against the country, you need an F-15.
He's talking about, like, these assholes who are, like, stockpiling AR-15s and shit because they got to fight tyranny. Like, yeah. Dude, if you're going to fight America, you're going to need anti-aircraft weapons, and you're going to need Top Gun on your side, stupid.
You need something a little more than a gun.
And, Biden's crossed the line when the media is upset.
The term semi-fascist is not helpful. It's not befitting the office of president.
Oh, no, not the media. New Day says it's bad.
Well, you can absolutely call out the dangers to our democracy, but it makes obviously perfect sense for someone like Senator Hassan because, look, in New Hampshire...
Senator Hassan asked him? Senator Kasem to ask him what?
More than 40% of registered voters are independents, right?
Right. None of them are MAGA Republicans.
I mean, another 30 and change of Republicans. Democrats are the third category among registered voters. So she needs to be able to reach out. And that language doesn't help her do that.
But you can always...
You can tell he's upset because I have a clip of someone thinking it's not helpful. More wine.
Find one cheerleader. Here's Joy Reid coming to Biden's rescue.
Joe Biden, who's the most middle-of-the-road, pro-police, working class, inoffensive, purposefully inoffensive politician of his generation, is painted as an extremist.
But Biden's just getting started.
He's just started doing it. Mm-hmm. Feel great. He's just saying I'm started. Okay. I'm signing up, so you better start this. Started. Mm-hmm.
Expect to hear more of these nasty attacks tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to give a Soul of the Nation speech tomorrow, so he's going to call us nasty names.
For his Soul of the Nation speech. All right, Greg, now that you're back, I think...
Oh, dear God.
I'll go to you first. One of the things that the president talked about was, he says, you want to fight against the country? You need an F-15. You need something a little more than a gun. First of all, it's a little tone deaf, given that we were at the one-year anniversary having left Afghanistan and having left F-15s for the Taliban.
First of all, we didn't leave F-15s for the fucking Taliban.
But what was he talking about?
What was he talking about? He was saying that these idiots who clamor about murdering people to fight tyranny, killing their fellow Americans to fight the tyrannical government by shooting cops and National Guard and soldiers or whatever. If you're actually going to take over America, you're going to need an actual military. And still, even if you had China's military, you're ice skating uphill. But,
well, I mean, with that
I wrote a joke down. Hold on 1 second. I got this written down here. It's going to kill.
logic, why are we giving arms or money to Ukraine?
To protect them from a tyrannical government materially. It's a war zone. Here's the idea. Why the fuck do you think there's a parallel between elementary schools in the United States and the Donbass in Ukraine?
It's not useless if you're against a superior army.
Because they're not just getting, we're not just going, hey, we gave you some AR-15s. That should do it. Dumb fuck, we're giving them javelins. We're giving them anti-aircraft missiles. We're giving them fucking HIMARS. What the hell?
With his logic, we should give up all of our rights, all of our protections, because they're no match for government force.
Well, no. It's you cannot overwhelm, say, the speech of your fellow Americans with your own speech by overwhelming the government. You're just not capable of doing it. And the same thing is true if you were going to, form your own little tyrannical bullshit fiefdom. This is the face of a man confused by his own argument. I can't believe those words just came out of my fucking mouth.
Right? It's
right.
Kind of a sick boast.
It's kind of sick. It's like weird.
It's not semi-fascist, it's full-on fascist. Who knew that Joe would become a wartime president? But he's waging war on people in the country. And it's so funny how...
Yeah, it's so funny. He's basically... thanks for bringing it up. He is effectively waging war through infrastructure and caps on Medicare expenditures and by funding cops. By the way, do you want to know why this is the conversation? You want to know why? Hold on one second. Let's see. I think the White House will have his statement on it. Might have to, let's see. 11, 12. It'll probably be on YouTube on these clips. Hold on. Biden remarks crime. Okay. Boop. Let's see what this is. There's a crime streamed 1 day ago. 54 minutes I was determined. This will be. It's like an hour-long speech, but and so we won't do the whole thing. But I do appreciate that. Whoops. Oh,
okay, so we were sold a bill of goods, and Joy Reid is still playing that game, which is he's middle.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up. Okay. So where do we go? Where'd I go? I have too many windows open. There it is. Okay, now let me jump in here. All right, there we go. Let me get into here, and then somebody else introduce him, and then they talk, and then Biden comes out and he gives a speech. Now, hold on one second.
I wanted them up here. I want them to know. And by the way, this guy has more integrity in his little finger than most people have in their whole body. That's why I love working with him.
Welcome home.
And like me, he married way up. Way up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Normal politician stuff, da-da-da. And then he talks about the...
Passport into this great city. And
he's talking to...
law enforcement are here.
There you go.
Many of whom are behind me. For always being there for us.
Here you go. Hold on. So this is the reason why Fox is not talking about anything Biden said other than the semi-fascist part from the other one. Watch this.
I'm in Cartwright country. He knows how to deliver for this district, which is so close to my heart. Look, I especially want to thank all the members of law enforcement that are here, many of whom are behind me, for always being there for us. And we should always be there for them. And by the way, also a group that you need badly, you don't really appreciate till you need them, is the firefighters. The firefighters have been with me my whole career. And let me tell you something. There's an old expression, God made man, then he made a few firefighters. because you got to be crazy to be a firefighter. By the way, please sit down. I'm sorry. Please sit down. I keep forgetting. Thank you. But look, when I ran for president, I said I looked at the world the way I looked at it growing up in Scranton, and that wasn't hyperbole. I meant that. What families wanted was in Scranton when I was growing up with my mom and dad and my grandpa was the basic as it is today. A decent job, the opportunity to be treated with dignity. Everyone, my dad would say, everybody's entitled to be treated with dignity, just simple dignity. The fact is that they want to be able to go to good schools, in safe neighborhoods, a decent place to live, and just a fair shot for their kids. Mm-hmm. You know, a peace of mind knowing your kids can go to school or the playground or the movies or the high school game and come home safely, not have to think about it. But for too long, too many families haven't had that peace of mind. They watch the news and they see kids being gunned down in schools and on the streets. Almost every single night you turn the news on, that's what you see. They see their neighbors lose their loved ones to drugs like fentanyl, which is a flat killer. They see hate and anger and violence just walking the streets of America. And they just want to feel safe again. They want to feel a sense of security. And that's what my crime plan is all about. You know, I call it the Safer America's Plan. And both your members of Congress voted for it. It's based on a simple notion. When it comes to public safety in this nation, the answer is not defund the police, it's fund the police. Fund the police.
Now keep in mind, this is why Fox is not playing any other clips from Joe Biden.
And we expect them to do everything. We expect them to protect us, to be psychologists, and to be sociologists. I mean, we expect you to do everything. I'm not joking. Everything. You realize more police officers are killed dealing with domestic violence than anything else? You realize that? The point is, we ask so much of you. So much of you. I've not met a cop who likes a bad cop. There's bad in everything. There's lousy senators, there's lousy presidents, there's lousy doctors, there's lousy lawyers. No, I'm serious. But I don't know any police officer that feels good about the fact that there may be a lousy cop. And I'm tired of not giving the kind of help they need. Folks, look, we're in a situation in this country where we have to give them additional resources they need to get their job done. Matt gets it, Matt Cartwright, and this is not hyperbole. Matt's the chair of the powerful subcommittee that controls the funding for public safety. He knows what it means, investing in effective and accountable community policing that builds public trust and strengthens public safety. I'm old enough to remember when cops used to walk the beat in Wilmington and in Scranton, because they knew everybody. They knew the kid. They knew if something was trouble. They knew whose house to go and knock on the door and say, "Mom, your son just did." I'm not being facetious. They knew the neighborhoods. As part of the American Rescue Plan, I signed into law last year, which they voted for, we set aside $350 billion, with a B, $billion for state and local governments all across America, and urge them to use it like your governor did, to make communities safer. Here in Pennsylvania, Governor Wolf is using $250 million of that money to reduce crime and violence across this state. And Mayor Brown just described how it's helping fund community policing here in Wilkes-Barre. But guess what? Every single Republican member of Congress, every single one in this state, every single one voted against the support for law enforcement. They talk about how much they love it. Mm-hmm. They voted against the funding. Flat out. Flat out. Every Republican in the House, every Republican in the Senate, every single one. I know we expect so much from our law enforcement officers, so we need to support them. That's why my crime plan to help communities recruit, hire, and train nationwide more than 100,000 additional officers, accountable officers, for community policing. And I mean it.
This is, I just want to say, like, this is why they're focusing. Yeah, he said crime plan. Yep. Because he talks about the crime bill even later on, that this is basically like an update for it. And there's a reason, because the voters especially were asking for it. Even the crime bill that he caught so much hell for, and everybody was like, we'll run, like Trump was literally going to run to the left of Biden on crime. That was his plan, because he thought the crime bill would hang around his neck and black voters would turn on him or something like that. It's just like, it's a bunch of garbage. But oh, I'm too loud. Sorry. I'm fascinated by the fact that not, a year and a half later, they're talking about, reviving this. And at the time, the crime bill was supported by the entire Congressional Black Caucus, by every black mayor in the country. Like, they knew what they were talking about. This was not about, like criminals of color. This is about victims of color in these states and in these cities. That's what it was hoping to curtail, and it worked.
Folks, when it comes to fighting crime, we know it works. Officers on the street who know the neighborhood, not a joke, who know the neighborhood, who know the families they're protecting, who get the training they need to be able to do their jobs well, who work to earn the community's trust. And as we hire more police officers, there should be more training, more help, and more accountability. Without public trust, law enforcement can't do its job serving and protecting all the communities. If I can just interject for a moment, my deceased son, Bo, he was the Attorney General of the state of Delaware. And what he used to do is go down on the east side, what's called the Bucket, highest crime rate in the country. There's a place where I was the only white guy that worked as a lifeguard down in that area, on the east side. And you know where you can always tell where the best basketball in the state is, or the best basketball in the city is. It's where everybody shows up. He'd go down and hang out and sit on a bench with my grandson, who's now 17 years old. And the police used to be in the car, the local city police. And he'd walk up and bang on the window. Say, get out of the car, damn it, meet these people. Let them see you. Let them know you. Let them know who you are. Well, the truth was, remember what happened to community policing? We went from having enough cops on the street to cities doing well and then deciding they don't need more police officers. So they reduced the police forces. So you didn't have 2 cops in every vehicle. You had 1 cop in every vehicle. And I don't blame 1 cop for not getting out in some certain neighborhoods, not getting out of the car. And what happens is, it used to be, I can remember that when my son was the Attorney General, he'd go around in the tougher neighborhoods, and he would ensure that every single cop gave his cell phone number to the local liquor store owner, the local church, the local grocery store, the local hamburger joint. So if there's a problem, they pick up the phone and call. Because what do people not want to do in tough neighborhoods? They don't want to be the one identified as turning so-and-so in. I remember going on the east side in Wilmington, in one of those old Victorian 2-3-story apartment buildings, and going up to see a woman whose name, she's passed away, but won't mention her name now, and stand in that rotunda, that part that stuck out around the building, and she'd say, Joey, I know what's going on. They all plan it downstairs. I can hear them, but I'm afraid to tell anybody. The gangs. And so I got her so that I got a phone number for the local cops. She'd call. They promised not to identify her because they knew there'd be retribution. And the crime rate began to drop for real, not a joke.
So this is why, just so you're, like, for the record, we won't get into, like, more of this, but this is why the 5 is only focusing on this micro aspect of, like, 8% of the Republican base.
The road. No, he's an empty vessel that they filled with left-wing agitprop and all this other crap.
Agitprop.
But he's never...
That's what it is. Yeah, that's the thing about Biden is he's always standing outside of some place doing agitating propaganda, driving. You know what he does? You know what I hate when Biden does? I hate when he gives a speech on the ellipse and then tells people he's going to walk to the Capitol with them, and then he doesn't, like a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? I hate that.
Never been, we always thought, oh, well, he's still just a nice guy, but then we forget. This is the guy that said that Mitt Romney would put black people in chains. Do you remember that? So the thing about Joe is, if you look at his past, he operated on the most memorable hot take.
And also, by the way, I'm not sure if Greg thinks that's bad because the idea is bad.
If you said something, he would go to further out there and just say, well, he's going to put you in chains, or you try to come against us. I got an M15. He says the craziest stuff.
Is that what he says? If you try to come against us, I have an M15. That we all heard that, right? Okay. I don't know. I don't know. Logarithms are always confusing on the fly.
I think what we're suffering from is old man syndrome. This
is the joke he wrote. You can always see when he translates. And by the way, what the fuck is old man syndrome? Yeah, he means somewhere between an M16, an F-15, and an AR-15. Greg Gutfeld had a brain fart.
This is when you ascribe certain gentleness to people as they age.
Right. Like you guys did with Bill O'Reilly. What if he's the old guy that works here. If he says he gave $32 million to a woman to shut up for, what happened, that's probably a reasonable amount.
Like, I've noticed since my hair has gone gray, babies like me. They just think I'm harmless.
No, they think you're another baby. Babies have this talent for spotting someone of equal intellect and mental capacity.
This is why everybody, when they look at inmates, older inmates, they feel bad for them, and they go, oh, that guy wouldn't hurt a fly. They go, well, 30 years from now, he murdered a family. So, of course, now that he's got salt and pepper.
30 years from now? So we have this old man in jail because in 30 years he's going to murder someone. This is what happened. I mean, it's one thing to fuck up your own notes. This is just stupid. It's one thing to fuck up your own notes. But can you not invert everything?
Pepper hair. He looks like Harold. Everything's okay. That's the problem with Joe. Joe hasn't gotten nicer. He's just gotten angrier.
Oh, it's terrible. He's angry. He's so angry. Apparently, he used to just let school shootings slide. Now he's disgusted by them. What the hell ever happened to him?
Well, Dana, we talked about this yesterday. I mean, the whole idea of criticizing half of the nation.
Half of 1/3 of the nation.
And basically,
MAGA Republicans are not half the nation. Sorry.
Saying the Republicans, 73 million of them who voted for Donald Trump, MAGA this, MAGA that. He's planting the seed that anything MAGA related is horrible. And
yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to plant that seed. He's watering the redwood in this. He's planting the seed. Hey, moron, that seed was planted in 2016, but it was fucking watered and grown and protected, and then they dug it out from under and they brought it to the fucking Capitol on January 6th.
MAGA Republicans are the most extreme threat to our democracy, to our freedom. And Karine Jean-Pierre said,
you're not going to read the part where he says, I respect conservative Republicans. You're going to do this. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. I think we can find it on this, probably the easiest. Just seeing if there's a moment where. Let's see. Here you go.
What's happened is there are not many real Republicans anymore. By the way, your sitting governor, he's a Republican you can deal with. We disagree. No, I'm serious. But at least he's within the mainstream of the Republican Party. I respect conservative Republicans. I don't respect these MAGA Republicans.
It's funny that they shave off the top of that. Why is it that they are incapable of playing the previous part?
Conservative Republicans.
Hold on.
But at least he's within the mainstream of the Republican Party. I respect conservative Republicans.
He's like, they're Republicans in theory. There should be like even liberal Republicans, sort of, I suppose. Maybe, I don't know if those are libertarian ones. I don't know. The fucking Rand Paul wants to decriminalize fentanyl in children's water fountains at this point, I guess. Hyperbole. Not a joke. It is a joke. But they for some reason, they gotta take off that part of it. It's weird. It's almost like there's a lie going around.
Says he's not going to shy away from saying the truth.
So the timing of all of this says to me that the timing is tomorrow night he's going to give this speech, and he's been telegraphing it throughout August. It's usually a pretty sleepy month for news.
Yeah, totally. August has totally been a sleepy month for news. Nothing. Just hold on. Let's see if I can get all right, there's somebody's doing a TikTok of it. Yeah, it's been a totally slow. Here you go.
Completed its review of what was taken from President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home.
Mar-a-Lago, I see. Yeah, so
Tom Fitton, the Judicial Watch president, joins
and captain of the Blush Club for Men.
me now. Good morning to you, Tom. We understand some of these materials were covered by attorney-client privilege. Is that right?
It is. That's what the government told the court yesterday.
Yeah, so they gave those things back, but then they got down.
And
it's a slow news month. Nothing happens in August. So, by the way, Dana Perino, for the record, the Dana Perino is going down the road where Biden signed off on the Mar-a-Lago raid, intending for this to happen, to manipulate the electorate and turn them against Trump in time for the midterms. But he did it during a sleepy, no-news month like August because he also wants to give a speech about healing the soul of the nation.
A lot of people are on vacation, for a while. But people aren't paying attention. Tomorrow night is the Thursday night before Labor Day weekend. That's
tomorrow night. Oh, shit. Not the Thursday before Labor Day weekend. I had no idea Biden was a pagan. He's going to be wearing a cowl. I hope he has the stone of Crumshaw and the Orcan cloven hammer staff that controls, and the ring of Gornon for. Hi.
It's not like primetime viewing, okay? I think this is a.
Sorry, my girl just walked into me 1 second. She's having a honey mustard pretzel, so kisses. No, thank you. I will give you my if you want to take this upstairs for me, that'd be lovely.
Is that what's in the sink?
Yes. I made it in a hurry. I've been on since for all day. Thank you. Love you. Uh-oh. Oh, Chippo, come here, buddy. Chip wants to say hi. Chippo. Hey, buddy. Come here. Come here. He's going under here, and then you're going to come around here. 1 second while I... Come here, you. Oh, gosh. Oh, it's a big boy. Oh, it's a boy. It's a boo. What you doing? What you doing, Chippo? What that doing? And I'm going to be covered in little white spiky hairs. That's how it goes. There, go follow Mama. She'll give you a treat.
Cheetah has a new three-legged pit bull. He was at the salon.
Who does?
Cheetah, my hairdresser.
Oh, yeah.
He was there.
A three-legged pit bull named Flat Tire?
Smooches.
Smooches, of course.
He's so sweet.
They didn't name him Tripod or anything like that?
Very sweet. She's only had him a month.
Oh, okay. Lovely. Love you.
Trial balloon by the staff to see if he can make this messaging stick.
Yeah. He's trying this whole soul of the nation thing on for size. Hey, moron. He ran on that. That was the name of his first spot. It was his first speech. It's the defining mark of his presidency. It's what he really wants to push for. I don't know. They're trying this new soul of the nation thing. I don't know. Maybe it's because he goes to church or some shit. I don't know.
And then if he does,
Cammie says we need a side-by-side now-then picture of Chip. I agree.
They're going to try it because they must have some sort of polling or something that tells them that this works. But
yeah, something. It can't be because they care or it's actually purposeful or meaningful. It's got to be. They probably got that somebody from a publicity company called them and said, "This will work. Try this."
But the polls that really mattered. Let's look at 2016. Deplorables. That was really a defining moment for Hillary Clinton, and people wanted something new. And if he is going to run,
if he's going to run again, people are going to remember that he called 1/5 of what's remaining of the Republican Party, and while he was winning 7 points with independents, all of a sudden semi-fascist, not semi-fascist.
Run again, you have to run on something new.
Yeah. You got to be fresh. You got to keep it fresh. People, competency gets old quick. Look at Trump. He accomplished,
President Trump, right? He had to go from make America great again
to CAG.
To keep America great.
It was like that. Magoo. He went straight up Magoo. Make America great over and over. He went from MAGA to CAG. And it worked. He needed something fresh, something new, and he lost. I'm sorry. I do believe my argument just shit the bed.
Even though MAGA stuck, but there was a need to say, okay, I still have something new. Still have something good coming.
Yeah, like my healthcare plan and my infrastructure plan. And I promise I'll get us out of Afghanistan next year. Except we now know he never planned on getting us out of Afghanistan. Yeah, it's that I don't think that Joe Biden understands that America elected the oldest president in history because they liked the new cut of his jib. They were excited. Good Lord. My God.
You have to stay tuned for the next thing.
Yeah, stay tuned. Next week, it's a cliffhanger. Oh my God, maybe what's in the case? It's his healthcare plan. Dunk. Or is it? Credits.
And if all that they have is to be against the Republicans, that might work.
Yeah, all they have is to be against the Republicans. Asshole, have you watched what's been voted on lately? Yeah, she's definitely talking herself into a corner. Magoo.
If you want to make the...
Yeah, think this through. Where was I? Oh, shit. Let's see. Democrats have been passing bills hand over fist, including some that Trump promised but never accomplished. But the Republicans have been voting lockstep against. Oh, God.
Election, a choice between Biden and the Democrats versus Trump and the Republicans.
Yeah, because that's the choice.
Rather than a referendum on President Biden.
Right. And
you talked your way out of that one. You're done. See, that's the face of someone who went, nailed it.
Harold, what Dana says is so true.
It's so true. It's so true that you don't. The great thing is the Republicans get to run on all the bills that they're passing and not the fact that they're just voting lockstep against things. And the Democrats have nothing but we hate MAGA subset of MAGA Republicans, not all conservatives, but that he says he respects. But, fuck, does anyone else smell burnt toast? I don't know where I am. Where am I?
It kind of takes the target off of them and bad policies, and it just focuses on the Republicans. But how do you...
Yeah, it's amazing. It's almost like the Democrats went, oh, shit, we just passed an infrastructure bill and the CHIPS Act, and We're reshoring factories faster than at any time in U.S. history. Quick, something to take the voters' mind off that. Let's plant classified documents at Mar-a-Lago that Trump will claim are his anyways. I don't know what the fuck this is. What is this? Where's the argument in this?
How do you fix the soul of the nation if you can't stop calling your opponents people's names?
Yeah, nasty, dirty names, sassy names.
Glad you're back.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Said no one.
Hey,
A couple of things. Couple of things. I listen to all the names that we call everybody around this table. I mean, Biden has been called a socialist, weak, senile, Marxist, communist. One U.S. senator said he's senile and he should resign. His victory has been called illegitimate. Look, if we're all going to get a little sensitive about name calling, then politics isn't the business you ought to be in. This is an election season. I expect the president to continue to say some of the things that he's been saying. I expect him to continue to call out some who support law and order but can't find their way to excoriate what happened on January 6th. This is what happens in a campaign. And voters, I think you're right, Judge, and I think you're right, Dana. Voters are going to, I think, at some point ask, what are you going to do for me going forward?
And the Republicans have no answer. What do you mean, what are we going to do? We're going to make America great again. Don't you know what Trump is doing? They're just trying to, why they go after him? It's a witch hunt. Don't you understand we have to elect Trump so he won't go thrown in jail? Because if he goes to jail, America is dead. And China, something.
And I think Democrats, because they're the incumbents, will have
a series of laws and bills that they passed to run on.
The other party is going to have to say, here's what we're going to do to displace you. Here's what we're going to do to make your life better. You said last week, I was critical of Charlie Crist, not because I want him to apologize to Ron DeSantis, but he should apologize to the voters, because you have to lay out what you want to do to make life better for voters. Right now, I hear Republicans saying some things, and most of the things I hear them saying they're going to do is they're going to investigate Hunter Biden. They're going to investigate January 6th over again, and then they're going to investigate. They want to investigate. And it sounds like an interesting, fun thing to do, but I'm just not sure it's a winning message.
But you can't compare going after Joe Biden with going after voters.
Yeah, they're not his voters, dummy. They're not even voters right now. The MAGA Republicans aren't voting.
Like, you should be able to say that a president sucks.
That is a question for Brian. I mean, you know, it's one thing.
It's Brian's turn to talk. The camera was all ready to switch to him, and then Greg picked it up. We know you've been gone for 2 weeks, but just stick to the. We've got to. It's. Brian can't speak.
You call Joe Biden senile. It's another thing to say we're trying to destroy MAGA Republicans are trying to destroy the country.
First off, your short-term memory is very strong. From that, remembering last week's show on the Blitz, on the pace of the way the news is coming out, I don't feel bad for old inmates. I never have.
Really?
I came out of nowhere.
Yes.
I don't feel for them. I want to know what they did.
But don't they look grandfatherly?
I don't even walk the prisons anymore. I mean, like, I don't. That's not where I choose to give my free time. But you just brought up another thing that I almost forgot. Governor Hochul and Chris did the same thing. They both said, I don't want you. He goes, I don't want DeSantis supporters to support me. Not only do I not win you over, I don't like you. And then Governor Hochul says, I don't want conservatives to stay here. I want you to go to Florida. I've never heard anything like that. And then the president.
Yes, you have. You've heard it all about fucking Texas and California and Florida, where they're like, get out. Go back to where you're from.
The day before or yesterday comes out and says, when it comes to Republicans, MAGA Republicans, they're basically irredeemable. So I don't really want any part of you either. And then he goes, oh, by the way, I'm going to bring everybody together in front of Independence Hall tomorrow. Sorry if I don't tune in. All right, I'm going to. And by the way, how scary is it when the president?
By the way, isn't it your job to tune in? You think I like watching half of this shit?
President turns around and just walks away from the camera. It reminds me of the end of Tootsie. Do you remember when Dustin Hoffman used to just ad lib when they went live? Yeah. And he's like, oh my goodness, what are they going to do? I imagine his whole staff is like, oh my God, he's walking away. He's ad libbing. He might say the F-15 or corn pop.
By the way, F-15 is a proper statement. It was Greg that said M-15.
Matter of moments, and we might have to walk this back. So I do find the strategy strange. I know you have to have thick skin in your business, But I just find the strategy
You don't have to have thick skin in media, though. Thank God.
strange because the goal is to get as many votes as possible.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, these aren't people who are going to vote for him at all. These are people who are over voting. They think the last election was rigged.
Trump understood. He never badmouthed the voters because he thought that's a vote.
Yeah, he did.
Now, he would go after celebrities, athletes, everybody. But the voter, you leave alone.
Who first started it? Hillary Clinton with deplorables. Nobody did that.
Yeah.
Nobody did it before Hillary and now Biden.
You remember when Senator Romney did that thing when he said only 47% of people
49.
pay tax?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a history of this.
Right.
Voters.
I went on Brian.
Those people weren't, 47%, that's poor people. They're not voters. Thanks, Dana Perino. Pop again. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Kilby. I'm sitting on the live on the set of my radio show that nobody listens to. And it's very exciting to be here or whatever. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more of this exciting programming where we go around the table in a pretty determined order for our completely off-the-cuff discussion, which is very organic. I like it. It's good.